every component is important to win. I just want to ask you about SJ, just because of the 700 catches and the over 10,000 yards. Consistency is what you always hear when someone talks about SJ. What does it mean, you think, for the team to see him achieve that stuff?
Well, I think that's huge, and his message to the team after the game was he couldn't have did it without his teammates. Throughout the course of his career with all the guys that he's played with, and for him to reach a milestone like that and to have guys see it and have a win, that's huge. There's a lot of young guys in that locker room. There's a lot of guys whose career is still growing, and to see the consistency that you have to have on a game-by-game basis, on a day-by-day basis, to become one of those Hall of Fame players. And I think that's one of those good things that you want to see. It's a picture of what you can be if you're consistent and put hard work in. And we're just happy to have him.
And Toby Antigua, how do you think he played?
He's all right. He's all right. He missed the tackle, but we'll get that squared away. What was funny on that last play, I was about to move him from backer to 3 technique, and we couldn't get guys in. So good. He ended up making the play that he did. But Toby's a guy that's been around. We brought him in. He wanted to play linebacker. We moved him to end because of the way we were designed. And over the last couple of weeks, some things happened. I mean, Ian ended up getting hurt like a morning before practice or something. We moved Toby. Toby coming straight off 6 game. That's the first mic reps that he's had all year, and he did a pretty good job.
That hit Chris Rainey made there in the third quarter. I'm just wondering, is there an update on him?
It's funny, before half, Chris comes to me like, Coach, I can play DB, and then it just so happened the situation came where he played DB. I think he probably scared himself a little bit, probably knocked the wind out of himself, so I'm not sure anything else, but I'm sure he'll be evaluated, but I don't think it's anything major at this point, but I really can't comment.
Corey, is there a concern that you lost not 1 but 2 onside kicks?
Yeah, well, when you look at it right now, we won a football game without a doubt. And they're a team that's trying to find their identity, and we're still a team that's trying to find ours. And we end up winning that game. There's always a bit of concern. First of all, when we came out at half, guys were super excited because we were. And the thing that we told them is we got to make sure we focus. We came out, and they get the first onside kick, and then if they come out of that, we mess up on 2 or 3 defensive plays to where the plays called, and then they end up scoring on us. So that's one that shouldn't have been there. It's probably the lack of focus coming out, probably because we've been excited. Well, they were excited because we hadn't really been in that position in a long time. So they fought through it, and we found a way to overcome that, those 2 setbacks, and that's one of the marks and qualities of a winning team is to overcome setbacks, and they did tonight.
Sacks can sometimes be a little deceiving, but just the way Cleon's played this year, how do you rate how he's played this year?
Cleon started off real hot. I mean, he was a man that, if it was a one-man show versus him and another guy, he was definitely beating him. Then he had to setback with his knee, and then you can see that he slowed down, but you can see as of late that he's moving ahead and doing some things. And it was pretty funny because we asked before that play, I said, which front do you want? It was one front, he was in, one front, he was out. He's like, well, let's try this one, and then he got the sack on it. So it was just one of those nights, man, where things worked for us, but Cleon is a guy that, he's a beast up front. When he's healthy, he's a super beast.
And something about McLeod, a lot of quarterbacks might not have been able to mentally deal with coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. What does it say about Mac that he's kind of been up and down, and sideways, and all over the place when he's come in, and there are times where he does have big performances.
Mac's a warrior. He's a warrior, and you're right. Not many guys can handle that. And one of the things which you look at when you look at him, there's some times where Mac knows that he gets in his own way, not anyone else but himself, and he's hard on himself when that does happen. But the time when Mac's clear, he's clean, and he's ready to go, Mac's at the top of his game, and he's one that you have to watch out for. But he's mentally tough, he's emotionally strong, and he's a physical competitor.
Corey, is he a legitimate starter, you think, in this league?
I think he's becoming one. I really do. I think that he's taking steps to do that. I think the biggest thing for him is, I think he's, transitioning from the way the NFL plays to the way the CFL game needs to be played. And once he settles in and just does what he does, and I think he's pretty good. You're starting to see that with him. Is he legitimate yet? We'll see. But over the next couple of games, we'll see how it goes.
How important do you think it would be for this team to go into Montreal next week, knowing what the Owls are and the high that they're on, and to be able to get a win out of Montreal, like to be able to beat a playoff team? How significant would that be?
I think it'll be huge. We're limping in some areas, and even tonight, but we found a way to win. And I think doing some things and guys coming together and understanding that it truly takes all of us. You go to a place like Montreal, we know that we can beat them. That that's a part of football on any given game day. it'll be huge to go in there and beat them. You know, but we know right now, it starts with day one, we have to prepare ourselves. They're a good football team. They're coached by a real good coach with Kahari. And we just got to get these ready, the guys to go in there and not just compete, but win a game. That's what we are. And this season ended in 19, preparing for 2020. With us not being in the playoffs, it's finding ways to win games and finding ways to grow as a team.
Corey Walter, he runs hard. What'd you make of his performance tonight?
Well, you know, when you look at it, every team you're going to play is a little bit different. You know, I can't tell you exactly what their fronts and stuff was, but you know, he ran hard. You know, and I think the 2 games that we played that team, that he's been able to have some success against them. Some teams you have more success than you will against others, but you know, some of the fronts they run, he's able to find those creases and do those things. You know, when you get him going, he's one of the best in the league. You know, you just had to get him going. He's a different style runner. He's more of a punishing runner than a speed cut guy, but you know, he showed up tonight, and that was a positive.
New set of eyes as far as the GM above you. How helpful is that for the guys to really understand that this is a real hard reset for them to actually show what they can do and how much better they can play for next year as well?
You know, I think that one of the things is, you know, them understanding where we are. You know, the one thing is they can't get complacent, they can't get settled. And when a change like that is made, if they understand that that change is made at the top, they know it can be made anywhere in the building, including the locker room. And I think it kind of changes the perspective on the game, that, you know, every day it has to be earned, it has to be promised, you got to perform, and you got to win. And I think when they see those type of moves being made, they understand that, hey, you know, this game is for real. Not just this organization, but this game is for real. You can lose sight of that. You can't get comfortable. And, you know, I'm not saying that they have, but when you see those type of moves, you know that it can happen anywhere.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Corey.
you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.